Welcome to Whole and Healthy Cooking with Chef Val. Hi, I'm Chef Valerie Wilson. I have been teaching healthy, whole foods cooking classes since 1997. I'm celebrating my 25th year of being in business this year. Now, all my recipes are vegan, whole foods, and based in macrobiotic principles. I'm the author of 5 cookbooks, and you can find out about all I have to offer on my website, macroval.com. Today I'm going to teach you how to make brown rice Salisbury. This recipe is out of my year-round Healthy Holiday Dishes cookbook. This cookbook features recipes for all the holidays throughout the whole year. This brown rice Salisbury recipe is in the Valentine's Day section, along with the tofu Salisbury recipe. And the two of them work very well together. I put them in the Valentine's Day section because it's a rich, robust recipe. And if you're cooking for your sweetheart, I figured they'd really like the flavors of this one. So let's get started cooking. The first ingredient we have is an onion. So my onion, I soak in cold water. I do that so that the skin comes off very nicely and so that you don't cry when you chop the onion. To chop the onion, I'm going to put a little water on my cutting board because we know that that fills in the pores of the wood so the wood doesn't absorb the color and the odor of the vegetable you're chopping. So my cutting board never smells like onions. Take your onion, and now we're going to cut it in thin half moons. That means you're going to go with the lines on the onion. Okay? You're going to put flat side down, and you're going to cut straight up and down in thin half moons. Now, in Oriental medicine, they teach us that if your eyes water a lot when you chop onions, then you're probably consuming too many sweets or what are considered yin foods. So you might want to cut back on those if your eyes water a lot when you chop the onion. Now, this thin half moon cut is called a balanced cut because when you chop the onion in thin half moons, you have some of the upper yin energy and some of the lower yang energy. Thin half moons. That's what it's called. It's also a very pretty cut. And then when you start to cook the onions, they look very beautiful. So onions have anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation in your body could create joint pains, muscle, any type of pains in your body. It's inflammation. So we like the onions for the anti-inflammatory properties. So I'm going to move the camera over to the stove so that we can start cooking these onions. So I have a wonderful saute pan. I'm going to put it onto the stove, and I'm going to put the heat at a medium level. I'm going to take just a little bit of olive oil. I usually go like that, a little circle around the pan. We have probably less than a teaspoon of oil. And I'm going to put the onions in there like so. Now, when you saute with olive oil, by the way, olive oil is heart healthy, mono, unsaturated, good quality fat, the best type of fat you can find. But the way you cook with olive oil is you put everything in the pan at room temperature, and then you slowly let it heat up together. That way the oil never gets to a high temperature. It's a medium temperature. You don't have to worry about the olive oil going rancid or anything like that because we never ever get this to a really hot temperature. Now, whenever you saute vegetables, you do need to add a little bit of salt. Salt brings out the flavor of the onions, makes it sweeter, more delicious. So in this recipe, I'm going to use some naturally fermented tamari as my salt condiment. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on there like so. That's probably less than half of a teaspoon. Now I'm just going to mix that tamari in with the onions so that it can start sauteing. Tamari is the healthy version of soy sauce. Soy sauce has MSG and it's not naturally fermented, and we don't want to eat that. But tamari, awesome salty condiment. So this is on a medium heat. We're going to let the onions hang out and just saute. So when you're sauteing onions, please don't sit there at the stove and constantly move the onions, they don't get the opportunity to cook. You need those onions to sit on the bottom of the pan where the heat is. So they start to caramelize and they start to cook and they start to get this beautiful flavor to them. So the onions are going to hang out. We're just going to let them saute. Meanwhile, let's go back to the cutting board because we have some more vegetables to chop. Okay, so the next vegetable is some mushrooms. So I chose organic white button mushrooms, and you want 4 cups. That's approximately 4 ounces of mushrooms. But of course, you could use your favorite mushroom. You could use an oyster. You could use a portobello. You could use a combination of mushrooms, which would be awesome. Maitake. Maitake is one of my favorite. You could use that too. So I washed the mushrooms already, and I've already chopped up quite a few of them, save on time, but the rest of them I'll show you how I chop them. Again, water on the cutting board, take your mushroom, chop it once, then put it down so that it's on the flat surface. See how this is wobbly? Let's put it on the flat surface. Let's continue chopping like so. For this recipe, we're going to use slices of mushroom. Okay. This is where your protein is. Mushrooms are an excellent source of protein. People don't even realize that. Mushrooms also contain zinc, calcium, iron. This is where your vitamins and minerals are in your mushrooms. All right, so we put those in the measuring cup. Like I said, we've got 4 cups of mushrooms. That's the next thing. And then we have 3 relatively large garlic cloves. This is going to be like the signature flavor of the Salisbury. We've got garlic and onions and mushrooms. Now to get the skin off of the garlic, we put it on the cutting board like so, and we give it a whack, and it cracks the garlic like so. There we go. And then it makes it, oh, that one kind of flew, but it makes it easy to get the skin off like so. See, the skin comes right off that garlic, just like that. Garlic. It's been used for thousands of years in herbal medicine because of its antibiotic properties. Anytime you need an antibiotic, don't go with one of those pills that's going to give you all kinds of side effects. Go with garlic. This is your natural antibiotic. Now the garlic has a little dried spot on it right there, so we like to just chop that off and get rid of that. For this dish, we're putting the garlic in there because of its tremendous flavor. It has a wonderful pungent flavor to it that's going to add a rich layer of flavor to this particular dish. And we have quite a bit of garlic here. There's 3 large garlic cloves, so that's going to give us a wonderful garlic flavor in the dish. So I'm just going to keep chopping it until it becomes small. That's called minced garlic. And we'll put it into the little bowl here so that I can use it later. Okay. All right, so that's it for the vegetables: onions, mushrooms, and garlic. The onions are cooking now, and they're sizzling. Not much to see, but you can see some steam coming off of them. I'm going to give them a little turn, just a little bit, but we're going to keep them going, keep them sauteing, because we want them to become beautiful and sweet. Now, the other ingredient that's going in here is the brown rice, because it's a brown rice Salisbury. And so, if you want to learn more about brown rice, I have videos on my Patreon group, Whole and Healthy Cooking, where you're watching this video, but there's many videos. There's all about brown rice, where I teach you how to cook it, and I have many recipes featuring brown rice because of its incredible health benefits. So I know you always have brown rice in your refrigerator left over, or you're making brown rice every week because we want to eat the brown rice all the time. We want to have the brown rice because it gives us energy, long, sustainable energy to last throughout the day. Brown rice is full of antioxidants to help fight off diseases, full of B vitamins, which we need. because when our body gets stressed out, we get deplete of B vitamins. Complex carbohydrates, that's what brown rice is. All of your ancestors, no matter where they came from, had a diet based in whole grain, complex carbohydrates. And even though it's in the complex carbohydrate category, there is protein in all whole grains also. Now I'm using the short grain brown rice for this recipe. I like the short grain. I like the sweetness of it. I like that it's chewy. But this recipe, you can use long grain brown rice. You could use a medium. Any one of them will work for this recipe. You could even use a combo, like wild rices and brown rices together. That would be absolutely delicious. And so we want 4 cups of the brown rice. Let's just check on the onions, give you an update on the onions. That's what they look like. Now again, I'm not standing over the pan, stirring them all the time, just stirring them every once in a while. That's it. Now, to get 4 cups of brown rice, you can start with 1 cup of dried brown rice, and you can add 2 cups of water to it and put it in a pot on the stove, right? And you're going to simmer it for 1 hour. And all the water should have been absorbed by the brown rice, and the brown rice should be perfect and light and fluffy like this brown rice here. So that's the brown rice portion of the recipe. Get yourself a bowl. You're going to put the brown rice in the bowl. This is where we're going to create the dish, basically, in the bowl. All right. Each time you saute the vegetable and the vegetable gets done, we're going to add it to the bowl. That's how this recipe is going to work. Now, this brown rice right now was just cooked. It's beautiful, it's delicious, but we're going to season it just a little bit. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of sea salt to this, and we're going to mix it in. Now, when it comes to sea salt and you go to the store to buy it, you want to look for some sea salt that has a little bit of color in it. Those are the minerals in the sea salt. That's what you're looking for. Let's mix this in. So, Salisbury. So, usually a Salisbury sauce is something they traditionally serve over meat. And it usually is created with mushrooms, onions, and some type of wine. That's usually a Salisbury sauce. Now, I don't cook with wine, well, except for mirin, and that's in the recipe. Let me show you the little bit of sauce we're making here. So our little bit of sauce that we're going to be putting over the dish at the end consists of 2 tablespoons of our naturally fermented salty condiment tamari. It's going in there. I'm sorry, that was 3 tablespoons. There was 3 tablespoons of tamari, and there's 2 tablespoons of mirin, which is a brown rice cooking wine. And then we have 2 teaspoons of arrowroot. Arrowroot is a thickening agent. It's a white powder. And it is very soothing to your intestinal tract. That's arrowroot. And that's going in there like so. And we mix it up. This is the sauce. This is going to go into the saute pan after the vegetables are done sauteing. So we got that ready now. Oh, the onions look absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm going to bring the camera back over to the stove so we can see what's going on with these beautiful onions. They just look absolutely wonderful. They're getting nice and soft, nice and caramelized. I'm just going to let them hang out there just for another minute, and then they should be done. Put our brown rice over here so it's ready to go. Just go with a little bit here. All right. So while that's waiting to cook, we just have a minute here. I want the onions to be nice and soft and to the perfect texture for the brown rice Salisbury. If you really like this cooking video, you can, again, become a Patreon member on my Patreon group for a small fee. It's a subscription cooking channel, and there's all kinds of cooking videos such as this on there. And you can, therefore, you get a repertoire of all kinds of healthy whole foods cooking. When you go into the whole foods category, we don't use anything that's refined or processed. So we start everything with whole grains and vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds and things like that. No refined processed food in the cooking whatsoever. And that changes your body. It actually changes the chemistry of your body, because when you start feeding your body food that's full of vitamins and minerals and nutrients, your body starts to come alive again. And another thing that happens is your body cleanses itself. So your body cleanses itself of the toxins that have accumulated from maybe eating chemicals or pesticides or toxic foods. And you start to have a lighter energy, you start to feel more healthy, and you start to have more energy. These are all health benefits of eating a healthy whole foods diet. So here we go. I think those onions are done. Let me make it so that you can see these beautiful onions. They're nice and soft. They're starting to brown. We're going to put those in there like so. And then we are going to add our mushrooms. All right. So I think we're going to have to do the mushrooms in 2 batches because we don't want to overcrowd the pan. And with the saute, I added just a smidge more of olive oil, and I seasoned it with just a little bit of tamari. Not much. That's it. Mushrooms don't take long to saute. Just a few minutes. They're going to saute. Their natural juices are going to come out. They're going to make the dish very, very flavorful and wonderful that way. So we're just going to give this a minute to hang out in the pan. While that's cooking, some other wonderful recipes that are in my year-round healthy holiday dishes cookbook. I have a cream of asparagus and mushroom soup. Here's a vanilla cake with chocolate frosting. That's a good one. And then we have Mother's Day. Mother's Day is recipes that are some of my mother's favorites. A garlic vegetable brown rice stir fry, a mock tuna pasta salad, split pea and sweet potato soup, whipped garlic. This is a recipe I'm famous for. So those are some of the recipes in Mother's Day. I have Memorial Day, Father's Day. Father's Day we have some grilling recipes because my dad's an excellent griller. And we have 4th of July, summer recipes. We have Labor Day featuring apples. So this is year-round healthy holiday cooking. And this is available on macroval.com. Just, there's the mushrooms. They're done. That's the first batch of mushrooms. Let's go with the second batch of mushrooms now. All the while seasoning it as it goes. There we go. Yum, 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 yum. We'll let that hang out. And we're just going to give the mushrooms just a couple minutes to saute. Now, another service that I also offer is one-on-one lifestyle counseling. So if you have any issues, health issues that I could possibly help you with, we can sit down and we can have a one-on-one get-together where we talk about any health issues that you might be suffering with. And I deal directly with food, and I make food suggestions. We can change up your diet a little bit to incorporate foods that are going to help feed and nurture the different organs in your body. For instance, if you have something not working with your liver, I would recommend dandelion greens and other vegetables for feeding and nurturing the livers. For your lungs and large intestines, brown rice is the perfect food. For anything that has to do with your kidneys, then I would look towards kasha, the whole grain kasha, and also some sea vegetables in the form of like dulse flakes or wakame. And so you and I can sit down, we can do a one-on-one consultation, and we can work through some of the health issues that you might be suffering with. I have counseled people that suffer with joint pains and arthritis and seen great success when they change their diet. I've also worked with people who are dealing with different types of cancers. And again, once you start changing the food you're eating, you change the chemistry in your body, and then your body can heal itself. So here's what our mushrooms look like. And now I'm going to add the garlic in the pan with the mushrooms. And I do that because the garlic doesn't take very long to cook. Just like half a minute is all you really need for the garlic. Now I'll put a little splash of tamari on there just to season the garlic. Because garlic, if you cook it too long, it becomes bitter. So what you do is you just move the mushrooms aside in the pan and you add a little bit of garlic and you let it hang out there in the heat and it starts to become very flavorful. Now you can see the natural juices that are coming out of the mushroom. See, there's juice here that's creating a wonderful juice right there. Yum. Let that hang out just for a minute. And then we have our sauce that we created with tamari and mirin and arrowroot. Just going to mix that up with a fork to make sure that it's ready to go once the garlic and mushrooms are done. I'm sure that's enough, so we'll put that in the pan now, like so. Now this pan is hot, so this is where we make our sauce. Are you ready? We're going to put that sauce right into the pan, just like so. And that arrowroot is going to activate with the heat, and it's going to thicken very quickly. This is our Salisbury sauce right here. And you just keep mixing it. See, it's starting to thicken already. Well, that was quick. Whoop, there we're done. Yep. See how quick that sauce went? Very, very quickly. Let's pour the sauce over the top. So this is a wonderful main course dish because it's your brown rice, which is your main course, your complex carbohydrates. This would be an excellent dish to serve with the tofu Salisbury that's in the cookbook also, plus also some beautiful vegetables on the side, some colorful broccoli and zucchini or yellow summer squash on the side, so we have a beautiful color going on with the vegetable. And then we just stir it all together. Now when you eat this, you have the wonderful sweet chewiness of the brown rice. You have the wonderful sweetness of the sauteed onions. Then you have the pungent garlic, and the overall flavor is that beautiful salty kind of sour with the mirin, like the wine sauce, a salty sour Salisbury sauce over the whole thing. So that is my brown rice Salisbury dish. Now, I hope you get the opportunity to make this dish because it's very flavorful. I think you will really like it. Brown rice Salisbury. Let me hold it up to the camera so you can see it. So thanks for tuning in. Remember, your journey to eating healthy begins with one small step. Let's take that small step together.